Welcome to the final video in starting ecom. In this video, we're going to cover marketing, getting visitors to your website, and getting sales. So first, the section overview. The goal for this section is to start getting website visitors and sales. After the brand concept is nailed in and your website is built, you are ready to start making money. So this is after you've picked a niche, picked winning products to sell, you have a domain, and you have a website built up. Now remember, the brand concept and website is the foundation of your success. If you rushed it and didn't do it properly, you will not make money. People buy from you because the product you sell them has a functional benefit in their life. If you haven't picked a good product and you haven't built a good website around that product, you will not make money. Remember, with marketing, you're just adding fuel to the fire. If there's no fire to begin with, you're just wasting fuel. So picking a good niche, picking a good product, making a good website around that product is what creates the fire. So if you don't have a fire built up in the first place and you add fuel, you'll just be wasting it. So before launching ads, make sure your brand concept and website is fully nailed in and you have something good. So I'm going to give you a basic overview on consumer psychology. Many of you may ask the question, do people actually pay attention to ads? You know, I go through my Instagram feed every day, I go through my TikTok feed every day, but I always skip the ads. Now, remember this, the human brain has a bias to scan for information in the environment that biologically benefits them. At a subconscious level, our brain doesn't know if something is an ad or not. Human beings are biologically programmed with 8 main desires. These include survival, food and drink, freedom from danger, sex, comfortable living conditions, being superior to others, protection of loved ones, and social approval. If your ads hit on these desires, people will naturally pay attention to them. And this is why I recommend certain niches such as beauty and personal care, as people naturally want to look and feel good. If you want to understand more about this topic, I recommend reading a book called Cashvertising by Drew Eric Witzman. He will teach you about copywriting, consumer psychology, and understanding what makes people tick so you can sell them products. So paid traffic vs organic traffic. There are 2 ways to drive traffic, website visitors, to your online store. Paid traffic and organic traffic. Paid traffic is when you're paying for website visitors, and organic traffic is when you're getting website visitors for free. So paid traffic is more scalable and effective in the long term. However, it does require a budget. With paid traffic, you want to pay Facebook or TikTok money to get in front of their users. And you want to spend a minimum of $50 per day to get any meaningful results. In addition, you'll be spending around $150 to $200 on a product to test it. If you've spent this much money and the product is profitable, then it's something that you should invest more time and effort into. Alternatively, if you want to get traffic without paying for it, you can take advantage of organic traffic. Now, the best way to get organic traffic in 2022 is via TikTok. What you want to do is create a TikTok account, order your product to your house, and create videos to go viral with. Once you've gone viral and get many views, some people will click through to your website and purchase. So the best way to do organic traffic in 2022 is via TikTok. So paid traffic. If you have the budget, I would highly recommend paid traffic. It is one of the most important skills you can learn. And there are 2 ad platforms that you should focus on. Facebook, which includes Instagram, and TikTok. And I recommend sticking with one platform. Both platforms are very effective for e-commerce, but Facebook is king. It just depends on your actual product and audience. So you want to go where your customer is. If you're selling a product targeted to a younger demographic, it may be smarter to go on TikTok. And for products targeted to an older demographic, you might want to use Facebook. Now, before you launch your ads, you need to get video ads made, as this is what will actually sell the product to the customer. Now, I say video ads because they tend to be more effective than image ads. Image ads can work for certain niches such as apparel and accessories, niches where you don't have to explain what the product does. But in general, a video ad that demonstrates what a product does will perform better. So I recommend getting video ads made before you launch your ads. So Facebook ads vs TikTok ads. Both platforms are great for e-commerce, but Facebook is king. And once again, Facebook, Meta, this includes Instagram. Facebook have over 2.1 billion monthly active users and is the strongest advertising platform in history due to all of their data. So most websites have a Facebook pixel installed. The pixel is what tracks customers' actions and behavior. So Facebook know what people are doing on other people's websites. Facebook know if you're adding to cart, if you're purchasing, if you're just looking for products in a certain niche. As a result, they have extremely high conversion rates and your ads are extremely scalable if your offer is broad enough. So when you run ads on Facebook, you may get very high conversion rates, and if your offer is broad enough, it is very scalable because they have over 2.1 billion monthly active users. Now, TikTok is the new wave. TikTok has taken over the social media game in just a few short years. The TikTok ad platform has only been around for 2 to 3 years. As a result, the ads are extremely cheap, especially compared to Facebook. Now, due to this, you can make a lot of profit very, very easily. So both platforms work. Once again, it depends on your niche and customer. For products that have a younger demographic, it may be smart to go with TikTok. TikTok, and for products to have an older demographic, you may want to go with Facebook. In the beginning, just focus on one ad platform and get started. So next, the importance of the pixel and ad strategy. A pixel is a piece of code on your website that tracks the customer's actions and behavior. Without it, advertising platforms will not be able to track the performance of your ads and optimize them. Both Facebook and TikTok pixels can be installed very easily via their official Shopify app. It is a process that takes generally 10 minutes to do. However, it is absolutely essential. Without it, the advertising platforms will not be able to optimize the performance of your ads. Now remember, for Facebook ads, make sure you verify your domain and prioritize your web events before starting your ads. In addition, on your Facebook business page, make sure the feedback score is set to send after 8 weeks. So after somebody buys from you on Facebook, Facebook will send a customer feedback score to them and ask how their experience was. If too many customers leave you bad feedback, Facebook will penalize your ad account and they could even restrict you. So make sure you set your feedback score to send after 8 weeks. Now, if you want a step-by-step guide on how to launch your Facebook and TikTok ads, watch the Facebook and TikTok ad videos in the course. It will go over the actual ad strategy and how to launch your ads. So next, sourcing creative. The creative is the actual advertisement that you will be promoting. After the product, the creative is the most important variable for success. Bad creatives will not sell a good product. There are two ways to get creatives. The first way is to buy them, and the second way is to film it yourself. Now in the beginning, I recommend buying ad creatives online. Video filming and editing is a very difficult skill to master, and it's better to hire people who are good at it. In addition, nowadays it's also a cheap commodity to purchase due to Fiverr and all the competing services that sell video ads. As a result, I recommend getting video ads made in the beginning. The next way to get ad creatives is to film them yourself. This method is generally better for TikTok ads, as UGC content performs better on there. To do this, you need to order the product to your house and film and edit the creatives. So this is another way to get creatives made. It's better on TikTok due to the UGC nature of the platform. But as a general rule, I'd recommend buying ad creatives online first. This also helps you test products a lot faster, as buying ad creatives can only take you 2 to 3 days, whereas filming ad creatives may take you a few weeks. So next, the budget breakdown. How much you'll be spending on advertising to test the product. So you'll be spending between $150 to $200 on ads to test the product. Now this does not include the cost of buying ad creatives, which usually costs an extra $50 to $60. Now the minimum daily budget I recommend on Facebook is $50 per day, and for TikTok it is $60 per day. You should run the ads for between 4 to 7 days to test if the product is viable or not. Now the exception to this is if your ads perform terribly on day one. If they're performing extremely bad and you're getting a $3 cost per click or a 0.5% link CTR, it is a sign that your ad is very bad and you need to kill it earlier. So during the testing phase, you should be getting sales. You should expect sales within 1 to 3 days. If you haven't gotten sales by day 3, it may be a sign that you need to turn it off. So you'll be spending between $150 to $200 to test the product with advertising before moving on to the next. So the ad metrics to analyze. The key metrics that you need to analyze with your ads are link cost per click, link click-through rate, and cost per purchase. The link cost per click is how much it costs to get one person to click your link on the ad. The link CTR is how many people click through to your website after they see your ad. And the cost per purchase is how much it costs for somebody to purchase from your website. So the link cost per click and the link CTR are good indicators of how much interest your ad is generating. Remember, the function and the goal of the ad is to get people to your website. So if you have a good link CPC and a good link CTR, it's a sign that your ad is doing well. However, the most important metric at the end of the day is the cost per purchase metric. It doesn't matter how much people will get to our website if we're not getting sales. So the main metric you need to analyze is the cost per purchase. If your cost per purchase is profitable after 4 to 7 days of running ads, you should start scaling the product to increase your sales. Now, once again, if you want a detailed explanation on this process, watch the Facebook ad analysis video in the course, and it will go into a lot more detail regarding how to analyze your results and how to scale. So scaling your winners. Once you have consistent sales coming in from your ads, you should start to kill bad performing ad sets and scale up the good ones. So scaling means increasing budget on the ads that are performing well so you can get more sales in. Now it's best to scale after 4 to 7 days, as you want the algorithm to optimize so that you get the full picture. When you start running ads, it takes time for the Facebook or TikTok algorithm to optimize and find your buyers. If you start scaling too fast, or if you start killing ads too fast, you will not get the full picture and you may have killed something that could have been good for you. As a result, you want to wait between 4 to 7 days before scaling. In addition, it's also smart to wait until the sales get tracked in the Ads Manager, as delayed reporting due to iOS 14 may cause a 48 to 72 hour delay. So if you have sales already, but they're not showing in the ads manager, give it between 48 and 72 hours for all the sales to show in the ads manager. And finally, once again, if you want a more detailed explanation, watch the Facebook ad analysis and scaling paid advertising videos in the course. So next, organic traffic. TikTok is one of the greatest opportunities in 2022 for organic free traffic. With the right product and the right storytelling and video, you can go viral extremely easily and make sales. As you won't be spending any money on ads, this method requires a lot more work. You will need to hustle and grind in order to create videos that go viral. Once you have the right product and you create the right videos, you can go viral very easily. But getting that combination may take a lot of work in the beginning. So to do this, you need to order your product from AliExpress or Amazon. If your product is available on Amazon, order it from there as you'll get faster shipping. And once you've received the product, you need to start making videos to go viral. So don't just start making videos out of nowhere. What I recommend doing is find TikTok accounts that are already doing well with your product and model their success. See what's working for them and add your own unique twist to it in order to go viral. If you're making videos without any direction, it may be extremely difficult unless you're already skilled. So in the beginning, I recommend studying your competitors and modeling their videos first. Once you've done this, you can recreate their videos and go viral yourself. If you want a more detailed video on how to use TikTok to get customers, watch the TikTok video in the course so you can learn the strategy and the best practices for doing this. So finally, the action steps for this lesson. First, I want you to decide on whether paid traffic or organic traffic is better for your current situation and skill set. If you have around $2,000, I would recommend paid traffic. But if you're low on budget, get started with organic traffic. If you're starting with paid traffic, get your video ads made and launch your first campaign on Facebook and TikTok. Remember, if you have a good product, you should start seeing sales within 1 to 3 days. Alternatively, if you're starting out with organic traffic, order your product and start creating a short list of video ideas. So study your competitors, look at what they're doing, and use that as inspiration. Once you have your product, start making your videos and try to go viral. Once you go viral, you should be able to get sales. When should you move on when testing a product? So with paid traffic, if you spent between $150 to $200 on advertising and you're not close to profitable, you should move on. And with organic traffic, if you've created around 20 to 30 videos and you're not going viral and you're not making sales, it may be time to move on. Remember, this is a numbers game. The faster you test, the faster you will see success. So don't get emotionally attached to a product if it doesn't work. Okay, in this part of the video, I'm going to go over the frequently asked questions regarding marketing. So the first question, what about other paid traffic sources such as Google, Snapchat, and Pinterest? So outside of Facebook and TikTok, there are 3 other paid traffic sources that you could focus on. These include Google Ads, Snapchat, and Pinterest. So Google is a great platform. However, it is for demand capture rather than creation. So with Google Ads, people are generally searching for a product with the intent of purchasing, whereas Facebook and TikTok ads are for impulse buyers. So with Facebook and TikTok, people will be scrolling through their feed and they see your product out of nowhere and they're compelled to buy. Whereas for Google, people need to search for your product before buying it. Now remember, if people are searching for your product, if they're in the market to buy a product, they're not going to be impulse buying. They're going to be doing the research, looking for the best option out there. If they search for your product, for example, if you're selling a dog water bottle, if they search dog water bottle, they may see the exact same product you're selling on Google Shopping or AliExpress. So in general, I'd avoid Google Ads. The exception to this is doing branded search campaigns after you have consistent traffic. Let's say your brand is called Tucci. When people search Tucci into Google, they should see Google ads for your brand name. So I would recommend doing branded search after you have consistent traffic from Facebook and TikTok. Now the other 2 ad platforms are Snapchat and Pinterest. However, in my experience, the conversion rates are much lower too. I'd recommend sticking to Facebook and TikTok in the beginning. Once you have Facebook and TikTok working, you can explore other paid traffic sources. But in the beginning, just stick to these 2. Should you do influencer marketing? So there are 2 types of influencer marketing. There's personal brands and theme pages. If you want to dropship, I'd recommend theme pages. So theme page marketing includes going to theme pages for your niche, such as the animal niche or the makeup niche, and promoting your products on there. So for example, if you're selling a dog water bottle, you can promote that water bottle on a dog page on Instagram. Now a meme page is a broader version of this. So meme pages with 5 million followers, 10 million followers, you can also promote on there. But to do this, you want to sell a much broader product. For dropshipping, I'd stay away from personal brand influencers, as they will need to trust your brand a lot more to work with them. So personal brand influencers are real people that have a real following on Instagram. If you're sending packages to them from China, it may leave a bad impression of them. If they have to wait 2 to 4 weeks to receive their product, they may not want to promote your brand to their audience. As a result, I'd stay away from personal brand influencers. So if you want to do influencer marketing for your dropshipping business, I would stick to theme pages. However, I will say that it isn't as effective as it used to be. Back in 2016, 2017, it was much easier to make a lot of money with theme pages. However, nowadays, due to saturation, it's a lot more difficult. As a result, I'd recommend sticking to either Facebook or TikTok ads or taking advantage of organic TikTok. Should you do blogging and SEO? So blogging and SEO is one of the most consistent traffic sources out there. If you rank number one on Google for your search term and keywords, you will make a lot of money. In addition, you'll have very strong profit margins as you won't be spending money on ranking for those keywords. So this is the ultimate free traffic. However, generating SEO is an incredibly long process. You may not see results for the first 6 to 12 months, which is an eternity in the online business space. So if you wanted to do this, you'd have to write blog articles regarding your niche and load it up with a lot of keywords. It may take you a lot of blog articles to rank on Google. So in the beginning, I wouldn't recommend SEO. In addition, you don't even know if your product and brand is validated. You don't even know if people want that product. So if you spend 6 to 12 months writing about a product that people don't want, all that energy is completely wasted. As a result, I'd stay away from this traffic source until you already have an established brand that is doing well and is proven to work. So in the beginning, stick to paid ads or organic TikTok. Once you have a real brand going, then you can invest in blogging and SEO. What should I do if I have a low budget? If you can't afford to consistently spend the minimum $50 per day on Facebook and TikTok ads, I would recommend sticking to organic TikTok. To run paid ads, you need to already have cash flow coming in so you can continue to spend money on ads without having a scarcity mindset in regards to it. If you only have $100 in your bank account, you won't let ads run long enough in order to see success. So if you don't have cash flow coming in, if you don't have a high budget, I wouldn't recommend doing paid ads. Organic TikTok is one of the greatest opportunities in 2022. It does not require any budget. Now, as you're not spending money, you have to compensate with more effort. So if you have a low budget, I would recommend focusing on your TikTok page. And once you're consistently profitable, you can reinvest into paid ads to scale. Why use TikTok for organic traffic? TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform in the world, and it is incredibly easy to go viral on there if you make the right videos. So on other platforms such as Instagram, you need to have a lot of followers before you're able to go viral. The Instagram algorithm will show your posts to your followers first, and if they like it, they'll show it to more people. On Instagram, to get followers, it may take you months, if not years of effort. So it's a lot harder to go viral on Instagram and other social media platforms. Alternatively, the TikTok algorithm will share good content with people who are interested in it. You don't need followers to go viral on there, so it's a level playing field. On TikTok, the best content wins, and the barriers to entry are very low, so it's a great platform to get started on. What does the TikTok algorithm value? So the algorithm values 3 things: the average watch time, video completion rate, and replayability. So if your videos are not doing good, you need to optimize each of these factors. So if people are watching your video for longer, completing the video and replaying it, it will be favored by the TikTok algorithm and you will get more reach. As a result, it's incredibly important to optimize your videos so that you can hit on each of these factors. Remember, the most important part of your video is the hook. The hook is the opening 3 seconds and it captures people's attention. After you have a good hook, you need to retain people's attention for the rest of the video. So make sure that in the video, each scene is properly planned out. Why are my TikTok videos getting low views? So this is most likely due to the content just not being compelling enough. If you go back to the previous question, the TikTok algorithm values 3 factors. So if your videos are not doing well, it's due to one of these factors. Remember, on TikTok, good content goes viral, and if you're not getting views, it is a sign that your content just isn't good enough. So you need to go back and work on the hook and the actual video in order to improve your results. You should also research competitors and model the videos that are working well for them. If it's working well for them, there's a formula there that's effective. So you should model it and make your own video that's better. Another possibility is that your account may be shadow banned. So this could be due to having too many TikTok accounts on your phone. So if you're doing this, remove all the TikTok accounts on your phone, clear the cache, delete the app, and reinstall it with only one account. So this might help you remove the shadow ban. How can I post on TikTok in a different country? So for example, if you're from a country like Denmark, for example, and you want to promote your TikTok in the US, you won't be able to. As in the beginning, if your TikTok account is based in Denmark, your content will show in Denmark first before it shows to other countries. So the TikTok algorithm will tag your account according to the country you're in and your phone SIM card. For example, if you live in the UK, TikTok will show your videos to the UK audience first. And only after you go viral, you may be promoted to the US and so on. If you want your TikTok account to be local to a certain country, you need need to get a VPN and a dedicated SIM card in that country. When you create your TikTok account, you will need to verify it with a local phone number and connect to the app via an IP address in that country. So you may need a VPN to do this. Now, there are many step-by-step tutorials on how to do this on Google, so I'd recommend going on there and figuring it out. How can I put a link in my TikTok bio? So I recommend creating a personal TikTok account in order to take advantage of the trending sounds feature, which will help you go viral. In order to put a clickable link in your TikTok bio, you need to have at least 1,000 followers. So until you have 1,000 followers, start creating and posting good content so you can go viral. Once you start going viral and getting lots of views, you will start getting followers. Now remember, if you don't have followers, you probably don't have views. And if you don't have views, you won't get clicks. The link in bio doesn't even matter until you actually have views. So in the beginning, build up your account by posting good content in order to get followers. Now until then, you can write your link at the end of your TikTok videos and put it in your bio. However, it will not be clickable. So until you have 1,000 followers, people will have to Google search for your brand. Another way to do this is to link people to your Instagram account, and then people can click through to the link in bio through the Instagram account. But in the beginning, if you have less than 1,000 followers, don't buy followers, don't do any shady things. Start posting good content. As you go viral, you will get followers, and then you'll be able to put a link in your bio. How many TikTok videos should you test before moving on? So if you've tested around 20 videos for a product with a variety of hooks and scenes, and you still haven't gone viral and made sales, I would recommend moving on to a new product. This question requires context. If you've created 20 shitty videos and you haven't gone viral, that's your fault. But if you've tested 20 videos and you've used many hooks, many scenes, many backdrops, and it still isn't working, it may be smart to move on to a new product. You don't want to waste your effort on something that wasn't meant for you. This product may not have been the right fit for you and your skill set. So you should move on fast and move on to the next. However, if you haven't put all the effort in, if you've created 20 poor videos, that's on you. Make sure you create good videos, have a variety of hooks, a variety of scenes, a variety of backdrops. Do as much as you can. And after you've tested 20 videos, if it hasn't worked, move on to the next product. Take those skills that you've developed and start working on a new product, and eventually you'll hit success if the video is good enough. You can use the same TikTok account and Shopify store to test new products. Just archive the old videos on the account. Why is my Facebook ad account getting banned? For most of you, the main reason that your Facebook account is getting restricted is because you're not following the Facebook ads policy. Now, I understand it can be a maze to navigate sometimes, but it's incredibly important that you take the time to study the Facebook ad policy. Two main reasons that people get banned on Facebook is number one, due to creating anonymous accounts, and number two, trying to circumvent Facebook systems. So your Facebook profile has to be legit. You must use your real name, real photo, real age, date of birth, and location. In addition, to run ads, you may need to be over 18. If you're under 18, you need to use your parents' account. Don't create a new Facebook profile just for your business. It needs to be a real personal profile. You create a business account within your main Facebook profile, so make sure it's legit. And next, if you ever get restricted, don't create new profiles, ad accounts, and business managers. If you do this, Facebook can blacklist your IP address, device, and browser fingerprint. So this policy is the circumventing systems policy. If Facebook have banned you, if you create a new account, they will permanently ban you. If your account gets restricted, request review through the support forms and get the account back. If you haven't done anything wrong, you should get the account back within 1 to 2 days. Part 2. In regards to the Facebook policy specifically, many people trip up with the personal attributes policy, misleading claims policy, and nudity. So the main policy that trips people up is the personal attributes policy. With this, you cannot refer to people directly. You can't say you or directly call out people in your advertising. You can't say, do you have X problem? Or do you want to do this? Because you're calling out people directly, which makes them uncomfortable. What you have to do instead is say, people with X problem are. So don't directly call out people, but you can call out the problem specifically. An example of this is, let's say you're selling an acne product. Do you have acne by this? That would never get accepted, but you could say people with acne are curing it with this product. So don't directly call out people. The next one is pretty obvious, the misleading claims policy. Don't make claims that are absolutely unbelievable. You can't say something silly like lose 50 pounds of fat in 2 days or make 100k profit in 2 days. You have to keep it completely safe. You can't make any misleading or outlandish claims on Facebook. Don't use before and after photos on your ads. For example, if you're selling a skincare product or a weight loss product, don't show before and after photos because they tend to be misleading for a lot of people and Facebook tend to flag that. Even having the words before and after on your ad could flag that ad. So make sure you stay away from misleading claims and before and after photos. And the final one is nudity. If you're selling a health product or a fitness product, be careful with how much skin you show as it can easily get flagged by Facebook. So always stay on the safe side with your Facebook ads. Facebook is the gateway to 2.1 billion monthly active users, so you want to make sure you're following policy properly. Make sure sure you keep your ads as clean as possible. How can I make sure my Pixel is working? So after you've installed your Pixel for Facebook and TikTok, you can download the Pixel Helper extensions. These extensions on Chrome show when a Pixel is firing. So once everything is installed, get the Pixel Helper and go through your website and click on pages to ensure that the Pixel is tracking your behavior. On the extension, it will show when a Pixel is fired. So make sure you go to the website, make sure you view pages, make sure you add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase. When you do these actions, the Pixel Helper will show that the Pixel has been fired. And after you've gone through checkout, you can refund yourself after. Now remember, even before launching, it's always good practice to go through your checkout first to make sure there are no errors. So before you start advertising, it's always good to go through your checkout and make sure there are no issues. Why are my TikTok ads not spending? So many people have this issue. Unlike Facebook ads, it can take a lot longer for TikTok ads to start spending, especially on a new account. Now, if you've just launched your ads and they're active but they're not spending, wait for up to 24 hours to see if it spends. So in the beginning, the first thing you have to do is wait for up to 24 hours. After that, if you're still not spending, you can start testing new audiences. Now on TikTok, the interest sizes tend to be very small. So if you selected an audience that is way too small, the algorithm won't spend any money. So you may need to test a broader audience to start getting the ads to spend. So after you've done that, you wait another 24 hours. If that doesn't work, you can test new creatives. Sometimes the algorithm does not let a certain creative spend money. So if you change it up, you might get spend. So these are the two main ways to make your TikTok ads start spending. Some people recommend, optimizing for add to cart or a different objective. However, when you do this, you might get spend, but you won't get the spend you want. You'll start spending money, but you won't be getting the traffic you want. At the end of the day, you want purchases, right? If you don't optimize for purchases, you won't get purchases. If neither of these options work, after waiting 24 hours, reach out to TikTok ad support and ask them to check your account and make sure everything's working. And one final reason they may not be spending is if your payments aren't properly set up. If you haven't properly set up your payments, then TikTok won't start spending. Should you do age and gender targeting with your advertising? So I don't recommend adjusting the age or gender in the ad set settings. It's best to let the ad platforms optimize and find buyers rather than you segmenting them. In addition, when you target by age and gender, you might increase your costs. So the best practice is to leave them completely broad and let the algorithm target your buyers. For example, you may be selling a male product, so you might think, I'm going to target only men. However, females may also purchase it for their boyfriend, for their brother, for their father, so you don't really know who to target. So there's no point nitpicking and targeting only men. It's the same with age. You might be selling a product that's tailored towards someone in their 20s, but their mother could buy it for them. You don't want to segment by age and gender and let the powerful algorithms do their job. What is the ideal interest audience size? So in order to scale your ads, it's incredibly important that you have larger audience sizes. Now this obviously depends on your country. If you're marketing to the US, the interest sizes will be very big. If you're marketing to a small country like New Zealand, the interest sizes will be a lot smaller. As a general rule, I'd recommend picking interests that are larger than 1 million in size, especially on Facebook, which has powerful targeting capabilities. Now, larger audiences have lower CPMs, which means they have lower costs. With larger audiences, you will reach more people for less money. In addition, larger audiences allow the algorithm to optimize better and find buyers. So as a general rule, it's better to pick larger audiences. The sweet spot for audience sizes on Facebook is between 1 and 20 million. TikTok is a newer platform with fewer targeting capabilities. So larger audiences are much better there. And when you have a small audience on TikTok, it may not spend. So on TikTok, go after larger audiences as well. Why should you optimize for purchase? The advertising algorithms are incredibly smart. They have millions of data points on each individual customer. They will optimize for what you ask for. For example, Facebook has all the data on customers due to the Facebook pixel. So they know who's adding to cart, who's initiating checkout, who's purchasing, and they get this data from millions of websites that have a pixel installed. Facebook knows who buys. Facebook knows who adds to cart. Therefore, you should only optimize for the desired outcome that you want. This would be purchase on Facebook ads and complete payment on TikTok. If you optimize for add to cart, you will get add to cart. If you optimize for view content, you will get view content. As a result, if you want purchases, you should only optimize for purchases. On the ads manager, there may be warnings asking you to optimize for higher funnel actions such as add to cart and view content. However, you don't want that. From the platform's perspective, the more actions you get, the better it can optimize. So it's much easier to get 50 add to carts than get 50 sales. Therefore, the ad platform will tell you to optimize for add to carts. However, you don't want add to carts. Add to carts aren't money. You want purchases. You want money, you want sales, so only optimize for purchase. When should you use CBO? So CBO stands for Campaign Budget Optimization. This is when the advertising platform distributes your spend to where it believes it will be profitable. So usually we set budgets at the ad set level so we can choose how much money we want to spend on each individual audience. However, with CBO, you set the budget at the campaign level and the campaign will choose where to spend money. So when you're starting out, when you're testing, I don't recommend starting with CBO. I recommend sticking to ABO, which is Ad Set Budget Optimization. When you do this, this, you'll be able to test each audience equally and see which one is performing best. In addition, you can also kill off bad ad sets very easily. Once you have consistent sales and you're scaling your ad spend, you can test CBO, which usually relies on a higher spend and more data to optimize anyway. So in the beginning, stick to ad set budget optimization. Then when you're scaling, you can test CBO. When should I do lookalike audiences and retargeting? So lookalike audiences are audiences on Facebook and TikTok that are built off a source audience. For example, if you have 500 purchases, Facebook will go through each purchaser, find common data points, and target them to other buyers. So lookalike audiences used to be extremely powerful. However, lookalike audiences are no longer as powerful as they used to be back in the day due to the iOS 14 updates. So when Apple stripped Facebook of a lot of their data, they lost a lot of the features that made lookalike audiences so powerful. However, they're still worth testing once you're profitable with interest audiences. So it's best to use lookalike audiences after you have 300 to 500 events of the thing you're optimizing for. If you want to create a lookalike audience based on purchases, make sure you have 300 to 500 purchases first. To create a solid lookalike audience, you need to have a solid base of data in the first place. So you can test 1%, 3%, 5%, and 10% lookalike audiences depending on your country. So for larger countries, you can use the smaller lookalike audiences, and for smaller countries, you can use the larger ones. Larger audiences tend to perform better with Facebook ads. If you want a specific guide on how to use lookalike audiences, watch the scaling paid ads video in the course, as it's an advanced tactic. Now, like lookalike audiences, retargeting was incredibly powerful back in the day before the iOS 14 updates, and it is no longer as powerful as it used to be. However, if you're scaling, you should still test retargeting. So when you're doing retargeting, include all of your custom audiences in the same ad set. So go ahead and create a custom audience with your Facebook engagers, Instagram engagers, video viewers, and website visits, and put all of those audiences in one ad set and test that. So once you already have a profitable campaign going, you should definitely test lookalike audiences and retargeting. But when you're starting out, don't worry about it at all. What is a good link cost per click and link click-through rate? So this completely depends on your niche and audiences. Some niches have very high CPMs, which gives you a very high CPC, but the CTR is equally as high. As a general rule, you want to shoot for a link cost per click under $1 and a link click-through rate over 1 to 2%. So shoot for those metrics. Certain niches, such as beauty, have a very high CPM. So once again, CPM is your cost per 1,000 impressions. The beauty niche in the USA may have a CPM between $50 and $100. Therefore, their link cost per click will be much higher than a different niche. For example, the pet niche may only have a $10, $20 CPM, but the beauty niche has a much higher one. With the beauty niche, you might be getting a 4-5% link click-through rate, but a $2 cost per click. However, if you have a high conversion rate, that's completely fine. The main metric that you need to analyze is your cost per purchase. If you are profitable, that is the main metric to look out for. You might have a $2 cost per click, but if you get a 10% conversion rate, which means that 1 out of 10 people that click purchase, that link cost per click is completely fine. So at the end of the day, the most important metric that you need to look at is your cost per purchase. If you are profitable, then it's completely fine. How can I reduce my link cost per click? So your link cost per click is directly correlated to your link click-through rate. The link click-through rate is what percentage of people click through to your website after viewing your ad. The best way to improve your link click-through rate is to test new hooks. This is the opening 3 to 5 seconds of a video. If you have a stronger hook and more people watch the video, more people will naturally click through to the website. So try new variations of opening hooks. So if you have profitable ad sets already, go ahead and duplicate that ad set and test a few new opening hooks. Take your original ad creative and test a few different opening scenes to see if you can get more people to view the ad. In addition, you can add more call to actions to the actual video and the primary text in the ad copy. When you do this, people have more options to click through to the website, they will. So test having more call to actions. You can add multiple links to your ad copy, or you can add multiple prompts to click through in your actual video ad. How can I reduce my CPMs? Your CPM is your cost per 1,000 impressions. This is generally out of your control. So the CPM is influenced by your product, your audience, your niche, your country. It's really out of your control. You can influence it by creating better ads that the users find more engaging. If your ad is engaging, more people will share it and more people will click through to your website, which causes the algorithm to reward you with cheaper costs. In addition, posting consistently on your Facebook and Instagram page can reduce your CPMs, as well as having a great website experience and load time. So Facebook rank your ads according to the quality ranking, engagement rate ranking, and conversion rate ranking. You can see these metrics in your ads manager. So here we are on the Facebook Business Help Center. As you can see, there's a page here about the ad relevance diagnostics, which is your ads quality score. If you have a higher quality score, you will see cheaper ads. So Facebook rank your ads according to three main metrics. The first metric is your quality ranking, which is your ads perceived quality compared to ads competing for the same audience. The engagement rate ranking is how your ads expected engagement rate is compared to the ads competing for the same audience. And the conversion rate ranking is how your ads expected conversion rate is compared to ads that optimize for the same goal, competing for the same audience. So if you improve your ads quality, if you improve your ads engagement rate, and you improve your ads conversion rate, which is how many people purchase after seeing your ad, you will see cheaper ad costs. So these are three metrics that you need to be analyzing to improve your ads and to reduce your CPMs. Why am I not getting sales? So this could be due to many factors. The three main factors are your product, your website, or your ad. So if you are asking this question, you need to troubleshoot your funnel and figure out where the drop-off is. Start with your ad. Start by looking at your ad metrics. Are you getting enough people to your website? Do you have a strong link click-through rate and cheap link CPC? The function of your ad is to get people to your website. If your ad is performing well, you will have a high link click-through rate, which is usually above 2%, and a cheap link cost per click, which is usually under $1. Are people interested in your product? Is your ad getting engagement? Is it getting shares? Is it getting likes? Is it getting comments? Are people talking about it? Are people commenting on the ad? Are they tagging their friends and saying, I need this? If your ad is doing all this, you can assume that the ad is doing well, and you need to move on to the next stage of the funnel, which is your website. So go on your website, look at your metrics. Are people adding to cart? Are they initiating checkout? Where's the drop off? Is your site well built? Does it inspire trust? Do you have reviews? Do you have good product photos? Is your pricing fair? Is your product description good? Are you charging for shipping? Does the website load fast? You have to analyze all of these metrics and see if people are dropping off on the website. You might need to improve your product page so you can improve your conversion rate so more people click through and purchase. Now finally, once you've looked through both of these metrics, and if you still haven't figured out what's wrong, it could just be the product. The products you sell have to fit the winning product criteria in the course. If they don't fit the criteria, they won't make money. So if your ad is good, if your website is good, but it's still not getting sales, you need to move on to a new product. Do I really need to wait 4 days before analyzing results with paid ads? As a general rule, it is best to wait a few days before analyzing your ad results. This is to give the algorithm enough time to optimize and find buyers. However, if your ad is performing extremely terrible on day one, so for example, you may have a 0.5% click-through rate or a $3 cost per click, it might be a sign that the ad is absolutely horrible and you need to turn it off. However, I would wait at least 24 hours before doing so. You should have sales in the first 1 to 2 days of running your ads. You should have people clicking through to your website. You should have add to carts. You should have people initiating checkout, and you should have sales. If you don't have sales in the first 1 to 2 days of running ads, if you don't even have add to carts, I'd probably just turn it off. So it's incredibly important that you learn how to analyze your results. You should be getting add to carts. You should be getting sales in the first 1 to 2 days of running ads. Now, if you want a more detailed explanation on this process, watch the Facebook ad analysis video in the course. Should I test new creatives if performance sucks? So if you're getting consistent sales but you're not profitable, if you're breaking even or within 20% of breaking even, it may be worth to test new creatives to see if you can improve your results. Making a few tweaks to the creatives may make a big change and turn your ads profitable. If you change the opening hook and more people see the ad, they may click through to your website and you may get more sales. So making a few tweaks to your ad creatives may make a big difference to your results and profitability. However, if your product is not getting sales or anywhere near profitability, I would just recommend moving on to a new product. For example, if you've spent $200 on ads and you've made back $350 in sales, but you're slightly unprofitable, it may be worth testing new creatives. However, if you've spent $200 on ads and you've only made back $100, it's a sign that you should move on to the next product. It's like dating. Only pursue people who give you signals of interest. Only keep testing the product if there's signs of profitability. So just like dating, you wouldn't pursue people who have no interest in you. You'd pursue people who give you signals of interest. You need to know the right place to dedicate your efforts. If a product does not give you any sign of profitability, you should just move on to the next one. Put your efforts somewhere else. When should you kill a product? First, you need to ensure that your website is not the problem. Make sure your website is properly built up and is optimized for purchases. Ensure you have high quality product photos, fair pricing, a detailed product description, and product reviews. So once you've figured out that the website is not the problem, you can move on to the next stage, which is figuring out the ad. Next, if you've spent $150 to $200 on advertising and you are not close to profitable, it is a sign that you should kill the product and move on to the next. If you've made sales, if you're breaking even or you're close to profitable, so within 20% including costs, it is a sign that you should continue testing the product by leaving your ads running for longer or testing new creatives. If you test new creatives, you might be able to become profitable. Don't get emotionally attached to a product. This is the biggest mistake I made in e-commerce. The faster you test, the faster you will see success. If a product is not profitable and it's not close to being profitable, move on to the next one. A winning product is out there waiting for you to test.